Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this class today. This is my very first ever YouTube video, so I'm really excited to be on this platform sharing with you. Today's class is going to be a slow vinyasa flow. It is beginner friendly, but there will be some challenges thrown in there as well, so please take it at your own pace. If you feel like you need to rest at any time, go ahead and do that. I do have a couple of props with me, so today we will be using a block and a bolster. I also have my trusty friend Ollie here too, supervising the practice, maybe showing us a few down dogs here and there. So if you don't have these specific props, then you could just use a firm pillow as your bolster. Or for the block, you don't necessarily even need one, but if you do have a fitness block or something at home, grab it. If not, just like a really thick hard-covered book or something might come in handy as well. So if you want to set yourself up with those few things, and we'll get started. So in this comfortable cross-leg position, so whatever that looks like for you, could cross your legs at your ankles, you could come into a half lotus pose. And we're closing down our eyes. We're going to bring our hands together into Anjali Mudra. This is prayer position at the heart. And we'll just take a few moments just to settle into our practice this morning. Just finding a connection to our breath. So as you breathe in through the nose, you're directing the breath down into the lower lungs. You'll feel the belly expand. And as you exhale, just letting the belly draw back towards the spine. So keep observing that flow. And if you do notice that your mind is busy, we call that the chitta vritti, the chatter of the mind, then just use your breath as an anchor point for your attention. And then we bow our head down, just humbling the head to the heart. A recognition of this deep wisdom that we hold within our own heart, our own body. Hatha Yoga Nushasanam. With great respect and infinite love, we now come to the practice of yoga. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. So we'll lift the head up now and just interlace the fingers. So as you breathe in, you're going to lift your elbows up to shoulder height and sit really tall through the spine. As you exhale, you'll press your hands forward, rounding into the back. Chin comes into the chest, and then as you inhale, you'll reach your palms up to the sky. And then exhale, bring the hands around behind your back, interlace your fingers. And as you inhale, you can draw the shoulder blades in together and just let the heart float forward. Exhale, we'll bring the hands back around, connecting the palms, and then drawing the hands back into your chest, prayer position. Let's do that flow again. This is our circle of joy. So breathing in, elbows lift. Exhale, press forward, round the spine. Inhale, reaching palms up. And exhale, reach behind your back, find your grip. Draw those shoulder blades together as you inhale. You're lifting your heart space, lifting the chin. The exhale, release, bring the hands back around and draw them back into your chest. Breathe in, elbows lift. Breathing out and just pausing here for a moment as we squeeze the upper arm bones alongside the ears. Rounding a little through the back, lifting up, inhale, stretching the hands up to the sky, and then bring this left hand down beside you. So you want to walk the fingertips away, and we'll just come into a deep side stretch here. So we're reaching our top arm over. If it feels a little strong for your neck, you can reach back for the back of the head with that top hand. And then just focus on really spinning open through the top shoulder. And we reach up, we bring the hands together above the head again, prayer position. And then over to the other side. Right hand comes down, left arm lifts, come into your side stretch. And just deeply anchor down into that left hip or left sit bone. And we'll come back up, drawing the hands together above the head. Exhale, reaching in behind the back, interlace the fingers. Inhale, the heart lifts forward, open the chest. And then exhale, slowly release, drawing the hands back together. And we bring the hands back to the chest. And from here, we'll take a rock forward onto our hands and knees. So you can drop that top foot down. Roll over the feet or just bring the feet back behind you if that's easier. And then we're coming into a tabletop position on the mat. So placing the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees are hip width apart. And we're just going to tuck the toes under and do this little spinal roll to warm up the spine. So from here, we gently draw the weight back, bring the bottom towards the heels, and then as soon as they come down, tuck the chin in towards the chest, lift the upper back towards the sky, and as you inhale, you're lifting your chest and looking forward into your cow pose. So let's do that again. Exhale, we move back. Bottom drops to the heels, we round into the body, lifting up through the upper back, and then inhale, the heart moves forward, lifting the chest. And exhale, coming back through. Each movement is connected to a breath. And then we're just coming back into a neutral position for the spine. So bringing a little bit of tone to the lower belly. And from here, we'll press into the balls of the feet and we'll float up into our first Ardha Mukha Svanasana, our downward facing dog shape, pressing down through the hands, spreading through the shoulders, letting the head drop. And do some heel presses here. Bend your right knee, bring your left heel to connect to the earth. And then we'll change to the other side. Bend the left knee, lower the right heel. And then you're just changing your alternating side to side, moving with your breath. So taking your own pace, your own rhythm. Coming right up onto the balls of both feet. So now the hips lift really, really high to the sky. Spread the sit bones. And exhale, we'll let both heels draw down towards the mat. Let's inhale, lift back up onto the balls of the feet. And then lower the knees back down onto the mat. Untuck the toes and just sit back onto your heels for a moment. Sliding the hands back along the knees, back to the thighs, lifting the chest up. And we'll bring the hands into the lower back area. So pressing the hands into that lower back and just a gentle little back bend here as you float the chest forward, lift the chin. Shoulder blades coming close. If you want to go a little deeper with this back bend, there's the option that you can lower your hands down now all the way to the mat. Have the fingers facing towards your hips, open the knees a little wider, and then pressing down into your shins and your knees, just floating your hips forward, shoulder blades come in. And if it feels good, let your head float back. Let's bring the chin back towards the chest and float the bottom all the way back down to the heels. And we'll come forward into this tabletop shape again. We'll open the knees just a little bit wider now, wider than hip width apart. And then from here, slide your right hand across towards your left. We're going to pick up the left hand and reach it to the sky. So fingertips will lift. And as you exhale, you're going to thread that arm through underneath the body. So there's a little sway of the hips, and then inhale, we'll come back up and we'll reach again to the sky. And again, exhale, let that hand come through. Inhale, reach. And this time as you exhale, bring that left arm through, land onto the shoulder. So you're coming onto the shoulder and to the side of the face. And then you can just slide that right hand back a little to support you. So you've got a couple of options here. You can stay with this variation. If you like, you might even want to stretch the right leg out to the side and see if you can reach with your left hand all the way across to the outside of the right foot. If that feels too strong for you, just stay on your hands and knees, or stay on your knees, I should say. And then from here, we'll reach our right hand all the way forward and then maybe just a little over to the left. So you create this little opening through the side body. And we hold for a few breaths, just feeling into that stretch, feeling into that opening. A little twist happening through the spine, through the front body. And let's come out. So we'll slide that top hand all the way back. We'll press down into our palm and then just make our way back to all fours again. And you can have your knees a little bit wide and just slowly start to move the hips in this beautiful, fluid, circular motion. So it doesn't have to look like a perfect circle. You're really able to do whatever feels good for your body now. So this is a really nice opportunity to really tune into your own rhythm, tune into your own body, and just see what feels good right here, right now. If there's a little sweet spot that you want to hang out in, you can always do that. Just hover, feel into that opening, that stretch, and then continue on with your flow. And then we're moving back into this center line position again. Bring some tone to the lower belly. And this time it's our left hand that drives into the center of the mat. And we reach up through the right hand. So the right fingertips will lift. We're opening through the chest. Just pausing here for a moment. And then as you exhale, you can bend the elbow, let the arm come through underneath, sway the hips. Inhale it, sweep up, reach the fingertips to the sky. Exhale, come through. And inhale, lift and open. And this time as you exhale, you're going to come all the way through. So we're landing onto the shoulder, onto the side of the face. And then you can just bring that left hand to support you back a little underneath the elbow. So there is the option here, if you want to, you're bringing that left leg out to the side and you're reaching your right hand across to see if you can touch the foot. And then we bring this left arm up above the head. We're walking the hand a little over towards the right and just encouraging this twist and opening through the side body. So take a few moments here to just really marinate in that stretch. And then we'll slide our left hand back towards us. We'll press ourselves up, coming back to all fours again. So you're bringing the knee back in, hands in underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes. Let's come up into our Ardha Mukha Svanasana again, our downward facing dog. And if it feels okay for you to do so, you can soften just slightly through the knees, but allow both heels to move down towards the mat. We're pressing into our hands, broadening the shoulders, create space for the head. If you feel like you're holding a little bit of tension around the head, neck, and shoulders, just gently rock the head side to side, forwards and backwards. And we'll come up onto the balls of the feet and walk the feet up to the top of the mat. Come all the way forwards. take a halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And as you exhale, you come down, sliding the hands to the feet or the ankles. Let the head drop. We'll bring the hands in behind the back, interlace your fingers, and then just draw the arms all the way over the head. If that feels a little too strong for the shoulders today, then just leave this variation out. And we'll come up simply by drawing the hands towards the lower back. We're lifting our chest, slowly coming back up. And then just releasing the hands, excuse me, and bringing the hands back together at the center of the chest, prayer position. And on your next inhaling breath, reaching the arms up and around in a big circle. As you exhale, you swan dive down, touch the hands to the earth. Inhale, lengthen the spine, looking forward and stepping back with your right foot so you come into your lunge position here. So we'll bring our right hand to the mat. If you need to place a block underneath the hand, you can slide that under. And then reaching the left hand up, we come into this rotated lunge position. So you can send the hand up to the sky. Feel that reach up through the fingertips. As you exhale, bend the elbow, bring the hand in underneath the body, squeezing into the midline, tuck the chin in towards the chest, and then breathing in, we'll reach up again, opening through that top arm. Exhale, let the hand come through underneath the knee. Inhale, reaching up. Last time, exhale, threading the hand through. Inhale, we reach. Fingertips come up to the sky, and then we bring the arm down past the hip. We're going to lower into that back knee. Face forward, bring the hands together in temple mudra, and then lift up from here, reaching the hands to the sky. And as you exhale, coming a little deeper into this lunge. So we're either looking forward or looking up. Arms come wide, fingertips press down either side of that front foot, and then just move your hips back a little so you're draping the chest down over the front thigh. Bend into that knee, come back into the lunge, press down through the hands, lift that back knee and step back, downward facing dog. So no need to rush here, take your time. Feel into the body. We'll come right up onto the balls of the feet. We're going to bend the knees and then swivel the hips towards the right. So let that right hip dip a little. And then come back to the center and do the same to the left. And back to the center. Feet coming close together. We're going to send our right leg up to the sky into a three-legged dog. So we want to keep our hips square here. We're really lifting up through that top foot, pressing up through the ball of the foot. And then bending the knee, bringing that right knee in towards the chest. Rounding the spine. Inhale, let's reach, bring the foot back up. And then stepping that right foot through in between the hands, come into your lunge position. We press the left hand down. We're going to reach the right hand up. Fingertips lift to the sky. And as you exhale, you'll let that hand come through underneath the body, curling into the midline, chin to chest. Inhale, let's reach up, send the fingertips to the sky. And exhale, let the arm come through. Inhale, reaching up. And then we'll send that hand all the way back, lowering down through the back knee. Hands come together, temple mudra. Let's lift up. And as you exhale, come a little deeper into your lunge, lifting your chest. So you just want to make sure that that front knee isn't pressing past the toes. So often in this pose, I see a lot of this happening where people go really deep into it, but it's a lot of pressure to put on the knees. So just be mindful of that as you come into the pose. Keep the knee just above the ankle there. Just come wide with the arms. Fingertips touch down either side of that front foot, and then we move back with our hips a little, just straightening through that front leg. Bending into the front knee, come back into your lunge. We'll bring the right hand on the inside of that right foot, and we're going to pick up the back knee and slowly bring ourselves around into this Prasarita Padottanasana, the open leg forward bend. So you have your big toes coming in just a little bit closer than the heels. We'll press down through the hands. If you need props, use them. And then as you inhale, you're lengthening your spine, and exhale, coming a little deeper, walking the hands back and bringing the crown of the head towards the mat. So if you're quite flexible, you might be able to get the head right down. Absolutely fine wherever your body's at this morning, today. So there is the option too, if you would like to bring your hands up, just make sure you've got a really firm grip with your feet. You could reach the arms over the head into this Baddha Hasta, this bound variation. And we'll bring the hands towards the lower back. We're going to press the hands into the mat, lifting up through the chest. Walk your hands to the top of the mat again, so you come back into this lunge position. And then we're just springing that back foot to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen the spine, looking forward. And exhale, finding your way back into your Uttanasana, your forward fold. And just pausing here for a couple of breaths. You might want to wrap your arms in behind your knees. Take yourself nice and deep. My doggy wants to get back up onto the deck, so I'm just going to let him in. Always wanting to be part of the action. All right, from here, let your arms go, bend your knees, and then slowly we roll the spine up, vertebra by vertebra, taking your time. Just acknowledging each part of the spine as you lift, and then rolling the shoulders back and down, lifting up through the crown of the head. Imagine someone's lifting you up through an invisible piece of string, so you're growing really tall here. And inhale, we'll sweep the arms up, draw the hands together above the head. Exhale, swan dive down, touch the hands to the earth. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look forward, and step back with your left foot, come into your lunge. So you can do either knee down lunge, or you can keep that back knee lifted, and as you inhale, you're reaching up and drawing the hands to the sky. So palms are facing in towards each other. We want to bring a little bit of tone to the lower belly as we come slightly deeper into this lunge. And we'll do a little pulse here. So really good for strengthening the legs. We come up a little, and then exhale, go a little deeper. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, going a little lower here. We twist towards the right, and we're going to bring our left elbow on the outside of that right knee. So the hands will press together in this rotated lunge position. Have that right elbow pointing up and squeezing into the back thigh. If you're feeling really wobbly here, you can just simply bring that back knee down. If you have any other variations you'd like to do with this pose, feel free. And let's release from the twist, slowly drawing ourselves back into this high lunge. Reach the fingertips up towards the sky, and then bring the arms wide. Hands come down either side of that front foot, and we'll step back into our down dog. So a couple of deep breaths here, just letting it all go as you breathe in through the nose, and then exhale out through the mouth. Breathing in, breathing out. One last time, breathing in and letting it all go. Bringing the feet in close together. We're going to send our left leg up to the sky this time into our three-legged dog, keeping the hips nice and square. And then bend that knee, draw into the chest, rounding the spine, shoulders above the wrist. Inhale, let's extend, draw the foot back up to the sky. And then we lightly step that left foot through, come into your lunge on this side. Inhale, let's lift up, turning the palms to face each other. And exhale, we come just a little deeper into that lunge. Inhale, reach. And exhale, lower. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. One last time, pulsing, strengthening, steady. Let's twist towards the left now, bringing that right elbow on the outside of the left knee. You can keep your palms pressed together. And then maybe just angling that left elbow up a little higher. Breathing here. Just come away from the twist. Lifting back up. Hands together at the chest. Reach the fingertips up to the sky. And then come wide with the arms. Hands come down to frame that front foot. And we step the back foot to the top of the mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. I'm breathing here, a couple of breaths. And we'll bend the knees. And reverse swan dive, lift up. Bring the hands together above the head. As you exhale, pull the hands down past the third eye, the nose, the lips, the throat, all the way back into your chest. Let the energy settle just for a moment. Just feel into the preciousness of this time and this space. The preciousness of this moment, never to be repeated again. And as we inhale, the arms will reach up again. Exhale, we swan dive down, hands to the earth. Inhale, lengthen the spine, looking forward. Right foot steps back. Come into your lunge. Let's bring our left hand on the inside of the left foot and wiggle the foot to the outer edge of the mat. So we're going to press into our hands and lower into that back knee, untuck the toes, and then sinking a little through the hips, we let our heart float forward. So this is our lizard prep pose, really good deep hip opener here. So I'll give you a couple of options. You can stay with this variation. If you want to come a little deeper, then lower to your elbows and press the hands together. And this is where a prop might come in really handy. So if that feels a little strong for you, but you would like to try coming down, then either a block or a bolster underneath the elbows just gives you that little bit of lift and little bit of support. So try one of those variations. You can always stay on your palms if you like. And we will hold here for a few breaths just to give the body an opportunity to deepen and to really receive the benefit of this stretch. Stay with your breath. For those who might crave a little bit more of a challenge here, this is purely optional, so don't feel like you have to. But what you could do is stay on your right elbow, bring your right hand across to reach for the top of the left ankle. And then from here, you'll tuck the back toes, float the back knee, and then also that left hand will float up and you'll look up towards the sky. So a little bit of a challenge, a little more strength required here through that back leg. And let's place that top hand back down, lower into the back knee, press back onto our hands, and then just slowly move the hips back so that you can wiggle that front foot back into the midline of the mat again. We'll press down into the hands, float the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. So your opportunity to flow through a vinyasa here if you'd like. You can come forward, bring your shoulders above your wrists. Keep really strong here. You can lower your knees if you need to. Otherwise, bending the elbows and coming down in one line through your chaturanga, landing the hips, untucking the toes, and then just move your hips back a little. Just create space through that lower back area. As you inhale, use just your back muscles as you press down through the tops of the feet. You're going to float your upper body up and then just float your hands up as well, keeping those elbows tucked in towards the side body. And exhale, will come down. Let the chin land for a moment. Let the hands land just underneath the shoulders. And then still pressing back through the tops of the feet. Engage the thighs and use your back muscles to lift up again. This time, you can move your hands a little as well and start to use the upper body strength to lift your chest into this cobra. It doesn't have to be this high. If you want to keep it a little baby cobra, you can. Exhale, will come down, belly, ribs, hand, chest, lowering all the way down. We're going to come into this big earth hug, bringing the arms really wide and just letting the body settle here. Deep gratitude to Mother Earth for all of her stability and support. This little moment of rest. No need to rush from pose to pose, always finding this little bit of space in your practice to absorb. And we'll lift our head, bring the hands back in underneath our shoulders. Tuck the toes under, come back up through your chaturanga or use your knees, and then come all the way back into your downward facing dog. Let's bring our feet in close together. I'm going to lift our right leg up to the sky into a three-legged dog. This time we're bending the knee and we're pressing the ball of the right foot over towards the left. So we're encouraging our hip to open. So you can stay with this variation, or if you like, you're bringing that right foot down to the floor, flipping the dog, coming into your wild thing. So you lift your hips up and then you draw that top arm all the way over the ear, pressing your hip bones forward. And when you're ready to come back through, looking to the top of the mat, we place the hand down and then readjust back into our down dog shape. So that variation is not necessarily for beginners. It can be quite strong. Let's lift the right leg back up to the sky again. And in slow motion, let's bring that right foot forward in between the hands. We bring the right hand on the inside of the right foot. We're going to wiggle the foot to the outer edge of the mat. Place the hands down, lower the back knee, untuck the toes, and just sink a little here, lifting up through the chest. So this is our lizard pose. If you want to come a little deeper, you can. You can lower to your elbows. You can bring the hands together. You can use your props as you need to. Take your time here. Keep anchoring down into that front foot. Sometimes I actually like to drop my head down into my thumbs and just give My forehead, a beautiful little massage there, softening away any tension in the face. And then our last variation, for those who want a little more of a challenge, we'll bring that left hand across to the front of the right ankle. We'll tuck the back toes, float the back knee, and lift that right arm up. And you can look up towards the sky if that feels okay. Just a few more moments. Keep challenging yourself. And we'll bring the hands back down. We'll lower that back knee, pressing into both hands now as you lift the chest, and then just wiggling that front foot back into the midline of the mat again. All right, from here, another optional challenge. We pick up the back knee, and you may want to use your block here. So if you have a block, just have that handy at the top of your mat, a little bit to the right. So this is our Ardha Chandrasana. This is one of our balance poses. It's quite a strong one. So lifting up that back knee, we're going to spring forward and bring our right hand either to the floor or to the block. We open up that left hip, and then if you can, you'll float the left hand up, and you'll actually bring the hand to the hip. So then that left hand might reach up to the sky. Balancing here. Don't be too attached to the result. If you're a little bit wobbly here, that's okay. Be playful. And we'll bring the hands down. We'll bring that back foot to meet with the front foot. So both feet will come together. And inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, you'll dive down a little deeper. Let's bend the knees, reverse swan dive, lifting back up. Hands come together. And exhale, pulling the hands down through the midline of the body. As you inhale, sweeping back up, reaching the hands to the sky. And exhale, swan dive forward, folding at the hip crease. Inhale, lengthen the spine, looking forward. Stepping back with your left foot, so you come into your lunge. We'll lower down into that back knee and inhale, sweep up, low lunge. Exhale, come a little deeper. Looking forward, looking up, maybe creating a little back bend here. Another option is to bring the hands in behind the back, interlace your fingers, and then draw the knuckles down towards the back heel. And release. Let's bring our hands down. We'll untuck the toes at the back and just slowly start to move your hips back here. So you're draping your chest down over your front thigh. And it might be that you stay here. If there's anyone that would like to practice the Hanuman splits, you could do that. If you're really flexible, you might do it without the bolster. For me, I like to use a bolster here. Place that underneath my hips. And then I'm just sliding that right foot all the way forward and bringing the left knee back a little so that I can land right onto the bolster there. And then I just try to square my hips and shoulders a little more. So this is really challenging for those who find this really difficult to stay with the earlier variation. If you are quite open and stable here, then you could try lifting your hands up, reaching the hands to the sky. Keep the chest open. A little smile, extending up, letting go, bringing the hands down, and then just sliding this front foot back. Sometimes you'll take your mat with you, that's totally fine. Just readjust yourself. And let's bring our hands back down to the mat. We'll tuck the toes under and make our way back into our down dog shape. So purely optional here is our vinyasa flow coming through, lowering down. Inhale, making your way up into your variation of cobra, option to roll over the feet and come back into downward facing dog. Let's bring those feet in close together. Lift the left leg up and then bend that knee. Press the ball of the foot over towards the opposite wall. So left foot drawing towards the right. Try to keep the shoulders relatively square here. So rather than really twisting through the torso, let the twist happen through the hips. If you want to flip the dog here, that's an option. So you can bring that left foot down to the floor, extend the right leg out, and then bring that left arm all the way back and over. And to come back through, we'll look to the top of the mat and we'll twist ourselves back around, placing that left hand and then left foot back to the earth. Pausing here for a moment, let's bring the knees down. Untuck the toes and just sit all the way back into your child's pose. You can slide your hands all the way back, either side of the feet. So just taking a few moments here in this balasana, the child's pose. Just let your breath settle. Imagine you're drawing the breath in directly from the pores of the skin on your back body. And you're also bowing down to Mother Earth again. Bowing down to her wisdom. And let's make our way back to all fours. Tuck the toes and come back into our downward facing dog. Nearly done with the standing part of the practice today. So we'll lift that left leg back up to the sky. In slow motion, bend the knee and step the foot through. Come into your lunge. Lower into that back knee and inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, coming a little deeper. Pausing here for just a moment. Option to bring the hands in behind the back and taking a little bit more of a back bend here as you slide the hands down towards that back heel. And we release and bring the hands down either side of that front foot. Move the hips back. Let your chest drape down over the front thigh. So remember, you can always stay here, or for those moving into the splits, you can bring that bolster just underneath your body and then slide your left heel forward. You're landing onto your bolster, letting your chest lift and maybe lifting your arms. Really dynamic. These prana mudra arms, inviting that correspondence of energy through the body, through the fingertips. When you're ready to come out, you can bring your hands back down if they're lifted, and then just slide that front foot all the way back. Take your bolster off to the side, and let's place the hands back down onto the mat. So remembering our Ardha Chandrasana on the other side, if you would like to give that a go, you might want to slide your prop, your block over to the left side now. So you'll tuck the back toes, you'll float that back knee up, and then spring forward, bring the left hand onto the block. Start to open through this right hip and bring the right hand up when you're ready. Let's just imagine you're pressing into a wall with the ball of the back foot, and then maybe reaching the hand up to the sky. And then you've had enough there. You can lower your hand, you can lower your foot, you can slide the block away and just press down through the hands. Just take a little Ardha Uttanasana. You might want to come right up onto your fingertips. And exhale, folding down. Ollie dog is looking very relaxed there after this practice, as always. And then we're stepping or walking our feet back into our down dog shape. I'm going to come through into another hip opener here, our pigeon pose. So our right knee will come forward behind the right wrist and we'll land here. So we want to flex a little through that front foot and stretch back through the left leg. And then just press right up onto your fingertips to start with. So take a breath in, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, you can come down onto your forearms. Just hanging out here for a moment, maybe giving your hips a little wiggle. And then if you'd like to come deeper, if it's in your practice, you can open the elbows and just let the forehead rest onto the hands. Notice here if there's any resistance, both in the physical body, but also perhaps in the mind. Last few moments here, if you want to lift your chest up, you could walk your chest and your arms over towards the left a little, and then just lay your body down over that front heel. And then we'll press into our hands. We're going to slowly lift our chest up and walk the hands back to the top of the mat. We'll tuck the back toes, float the back knee, and just step yourself back into your downward facing dog. And do some heel presses, just getting the blood flowing back equally through both legs. If there's any stagnation of energy, you're shifting that with a little bit of movement. And then when you're ready, we'll come to the other side. So the left knee will come forward behind that left wrist, and you'll walk your right leg back. We'll press into our hands. We're going to flex a little through that front foot, and then inhale, just lengthening the spine. And exhale, let's come down onto our elbows. Get comfortable here. Maybe you want to open your elbows a little wider, let the head rest. The last little part of this practice to maybe lift the chest and walk the arms and the torso over towards the right. And then just lower back down. So now the heel, the front heel is pressing into the belly. And we'll slowly lift ourselves back up, pressing onto the hands and just rolling onto that left outer hip so you can bring both knees out in front. And we'll just give ourselves a big hug here. So wrapping the arms around the knees or the shins, hug yourself in. And to come down onto your back, we're going to use a little bit of core strength, but you might need to wiggle forward just to make sure you've got plenty of mat behind you here. We bring our arms forward so they're facing in towards each other. I'm going to walk the heels in towards us and then just gently tuck the pelvis under and use your core strength to slowly lower yourself down. So a little bit of control there. The arms will come up above the head and we'll stretch our legs nice and long here. Just take a moment, just stretching out. And we'll bend our knees. We're going to place the feet in just behind the hips, and you'll place your hands just beside your body. So you might even be able to actually tickle your heels with your middle finger there. And we'll come up into Satu Bandhasana, which is our bridge pose. If you have a full wheel pose in your practice and you would like to do that now and you feel warm enough, then feel free to take that option. But I'll just be talking you through the Satu Bandhasana, the bridge. So we'll press into our hands. And as you inhale, you'll gently tuck the pelvis under, floating the hips up, lifting, lifting, lifting. And then from here, you could bring your hands together, walk from one shoulder to the other, and see if you can get this little more elevation through the hips. So trying to press the hip bones right up to the sky, squeezing into the thighs. If you're in the full wheel, you can come down at any time. Challenge our strength here. And when you're ready to come out, just walking those shoulders open, and you can roll your spine down vertebra by vertebra until your hips just land back down onto the mat. We'll place the hands onto the lower belly. And just take a moment here just to come back to the breath, noticing that rise and fall of the belly. Just enjoying this little moment of peace just as we come into the very last part of the practice this morning. We're just going to bring our right leg long, bring the left knee into the chest, squeeze it in, press out through the ball of that right foot, and then reach across right hand to the outside of the left knee and just draw it all the way across the body. We'll stretch our left arm back, looking back over the shoulder, twisting. And release, we'll lower the hip back down. You might need to just shift your hips back into the center again. We'll change over. Other side, so reaching around the knee, draw it into your chest. Press out through the ball of the left foot and then reaching across with that left hand, guiding the right knee across to the left. Right arm comes out to the side. And let's release and lower that hip all the way back down. And we're coming into our final pose here now, our Shavasana pose. So you can stretch your legs long, you can bring your arms out beside you. If you have a bolster and you want to bring that underneath your knees, you could do that. That can feel really comfortable. You could even do a little diamond shape with the knees. Basically, you just want your body to be as comfortable as possible as you spend just a few moments resting here in Shavasana, deep relaxation for the body and mind. you can imagine that the earth is actually rising up to meet your back body. With each breath, just feel yourself go deeper and deeper into that support. So I highly recommend, if you have a little bit extra time, just to spend a few more minutes here, just absorbing this practice, relaxing the body, surrendering to this ease and nourishment. Otherwise, you can start to reawaken, just gently wiggling fingers and toes, moving your wrists and ankles. Maybe even having a big stretch like you're waking up first thing in the morning. And we'll start to roll over onto one side. And start to make your way back up slowly into a seated position, however that is comfortable for you. Our Sukhasana, our seated meditation pose, where we will finish our practice today. Bring the hands together, prayer position at the heart, gently bowing the head down. Deep gratitude for these ancient teachings, gratitude for this body that you're in, and for all of the great students and teachers who have come before us. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the practice, please give me a little like or thumbs up and subscribe to my page so you can find out when I'm adding more videos. Thanks again. Namaste.